setting up his own plays. So he has like definitely rolled with the punches really well. The meta's changed a lot.
Oh, without a doubt.
He's changed a lot.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, and it has been very interesting to track his champion pool throughout the years. Funnily enough, Lee Sin was his most played in spring, but even still, it felt like a different style of Lee Sin than what would have been played, years ago.
Yeah.
Real quick on Xmithia, I think a lot of people look at him as a player, a very successful player, who doesn't have an ego, or at least doesn't appear to. Right, and again, I think we can agree that everyone has the ego's in there somewhere, but it manifests differently. But his demeanor always seems to be like just the most like chill, relaxed. I mean, I swear when I was interviewing on the Madison Square Garden stage about a 3-0 victory, first victory for CLG, it was just kind of like, yeah, it happened, man. Like, does he ever? Can you rattle that guy?
I've seen him rattle. We've all seen each other at our absolute worst and our absolute best.
Yeah.
So let me tell you guys, he has an ego.
Okay.
It's there. It is definitely there. And Jake, all of us are guilty of being a little too defensive.
Okay.
Of things that we're doing that maybe the team wants to change and stuff like that.
Right.
All of us do this. Jake, no exception, but I think the thing about him is he's always so chill on game days. He's super, super chill and mellow, and we win, and he's like, oh, whatever. I'm Jake.
Another day in the office.
Just another day. And we lose, it's like, whatever, I'm Jake.
Right.
It's fine. But
I like that. I like that he reassures himself of who he is.
Yes. Yeah.
Whatever, I'm Jake.
No, it's just I think he has his emotional range on those days is very narrow, and it helps him. Maybe that's just his way of how he can perform well.
We'll wrap this up with a little conversation about Detroit specifically. Cloud9 is your opponent. The last time you guys faced them was in a best of 5 was summer.
Yep.
2018.
Yeah, I remember.
Where you guys took your second title in a row.
Yeah.
So we get the rematch here. How are you feeling about it? How are you feeling about Cloud9 as a challenger?
I think Cloud9, amazing team, very different than us. Very, very different. I think Cloud9 has one win condition. Svenskeren and Niski need to carry.
Okay.
There is a 0% chance, basically, that Licorice or Sneaky are going to carry. It is going to be jungle mid.
Mm-hmm.
And then, our team, obviously, we're pretty bot focused, I would say. But also, we don't want to leave Jensen out to dry like we did in regular season.
Mm-hmm.
So we are obviously very aware of how we've lost. We're 0-2 against them this split.
Right.
But we lost the same way both times. I think our team has maybe a little bit more options just because...
That was one of the things I was going to ask. You kind of cited, again, the growth of the team. Do you feel like Cloud9 is where you guys were exactly a year ago in, their growth as a roster, where they're very good, but they are very good at kind of one narrow thing, and with time they could be of your caliber?
Yeah, no, I think that team has really great potential, and the thing that I don't understand is how they didn't get to this point of their success-wise or skill-wise when Jensen was on the roster. I feel like Jensen is always being compared now to Niski because it's his replacement, and finally Cloud9 is doing well with Niski and stuff like that, but I don't get it. Jensen is so good. It just doesn't make sense to me logically why they couldn't do the same thing with Jensen.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, they could be there. They could be us, obviously, with time. I think the main issue is they kind of have a weak top and bot.
Yeah.
Their bot lane, they don't really do much. And when they play against when I play against Sneaky, he doesn't do anything. He just waits for me to do something and hopes that it's bad. And I just there's 2 types of players in LCS. There's the Sneaky Svens, and then there's the me and who kind of plays like me. Honestly, let me think about this.
In terms of ADC
Stick
style, Stick
yes,
a little bit more pressure oriented.
Yeah. I respect a lot more the Stick Stays out there.
Okay.
I mean, Sneaky is a great player for sure, but his style hasn't changed much. So I never feel any pressure.
That his style precludes him from being great?
No. He's still great.
Okay.
He's still great, but he is a player where I think if you put him on a team of 4 mediocre players, he wouldn't carry.
Right.
But he's on a good team, and he fulfills his role really well, really consistently. So he's a great player. I mean, no one will ever argue this. Sneaky's a great player. I just wish he pressured me more. So hopefully he does in the finals.
Hear that? The last thing I want to touch on, I don't know if you've had an opportunity to see, we've had a couple interviews with F3ssion where he was very vocal about how tough spring was for him personally in having lost the reverse sweep to TSM, which he very much feels like they should have won. And I think that a lot of people, most everyone feels they should have won that. And then to watch TSM go and get reverse swept by you guys, saying if we were there, we would not have let that happen. We would have beat, if we were in that final, we would have beat TL.
Whoa.
And so again, I think what's interesting about this is that I think, that's an example of somebody who is maybe using ego, who's looking at ego.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, I like to believe in a healthy way, because he's now gearing up for exactly that opportunity, right? Where he can put his money, to where his mouth is, and actually shut down you guys in your quest for the 4P. Do you think F3ssion has the capabilities? The only guy on the All-Pro team, outside of the Team Liquid guys, can he and Niski get it done?
Yeah, dude. I mean, Dennis, he has been always like a player I respect a lot since I played with him on TSM, and he really got hamstrung by like the TSM playstyle, which it honestly just ruins junglers. End of story. As people have finally started to realize, it just ruins every jungler's ability to play the game. But Dennis, he's so good. I think without him, C9 isn't even in top 4. Like, I think they're just a whatever middle of the pack team. Like, because of him, they've made the finals, but that doesn't mean that he's better than Jake.
Fair enough. All right, final question. You're going to Detroit in a week. Are you doing it? Are you guys doing what no other team has done before in the LCS? Bringing home the 4P, going to Worlds as the 1 seed, and representing us proudly there.
Yeah, I think we're doing it. We're doing it.
That's what I like to hear. Double F, thank you so much for stopping by. Best of luck next week in the finals. Cloud9 and Team Liquid will battle it out in Detroit at the LCS Summer Finals in the Little Caesars Arena with a special performance by Jax Anderson during the opening ceremonies. Tickets are still available at lolesports.com, so go check those out. One of those players, though, that he will be facing in Detroit is C9's F3ssion, who's joining us now. Welcome to the show, F3ssion. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Let's dive right into it. But we are going to start with a little bit of a rewind, right back to spring split of this year, semifinals. Cloud9, 2-0 to begin, and the reverse sweep follows. We've already had a couple opportunities on broadcast to talk to you about that. You've been pretty vocal about the fact that you feel you were the better team, and that it did slip away from you guys on that day. And even went on to say that you believe if you were in TSM's position in that finals, that you would have closed it out against Team Liquid. Dive into that a little bit more for me. Like, why is it that you could kind of so confidently say that, or what is it that makes you feel you guys had that ability and it just wasn't maybe there on that day?
Yeah, so I feel like our playstyle at the time were pretty aggressive, and I feel like TSM, they kind of knew how to play against us a bit better than we knew how to play against them. But I feel like if we were to go up against TL, our playstyle would have matched a lot better. But I think that's just the advantage of having like first seed, which TL usually always gets during the regular splits. So they get to choose who they play against, and we don't. So obviously I feel like we were pretty good last split, and I think TL they weren't looking as strong as like people would think they were. And obviously from scrims we could see that we're kind of like demolishing them every scrim. So obviously we had a high confidence that we're going to win the whole thing. So maybe we were a bit too cocky going up against TSM, that we were looking too far ahead, that like the split's probably going to be our win. So I think we got too cocky going up against TSM, that just because our scrims were looking so well, like we were doing so well in scrims.
So then how do you come down from that? Like, you've now lost the semifinals and you've watched the finals of spring, and you're sitting there saying that could have been us and we could have closed it out. how do you go through the off season? What did you guys diagnose as, maybe what needs to change in summer to make sure that that doesn't happen? But at the same time, how do you guard yourselves against saying, blow up the roster, like we would have had it if everything was different, and start attacking at all angles? Like, talk to me about that balance.
I mean, it's obviously hard to say, like, there's not just going to be one reason why we lost. Like, we got reverse swept.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we had a lot of internal jokes about why we lost and stuff like that, which, I mean, one of the funny things we talk about is that after we were up 2-0, I think Niski got a little bit too cocky, so he started joking around like that he want to go home fast, and he basically,
that's a quick recipe to be sent home.
And then he did not go home fast. Instead, we got 3 out.
Yeah.
So I think we're having a lot of jokes like that, which I think as a team we're pretty well around being open with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's pretty depressing, like, I think one of the ways we get over the depression is kind of like joking around it. So.
Has that been the case on all of the teams you've been on? I mean, from Europe to North America, or is this something that's unique to Cloud9 in the way that you guys deal with issues or shortcomings?
I think it's very unique to Cloud9, where in my previous teams we would have like very serious meetings about why we think we lost or like why we're bad. But here it's more like after we lose, it's not like we go straight into a meeting and we talk about like, okay, you're the reason why we lost, and like stuff like this. It's more like we have some time to think about the things, and then I think we start like Reboot kind of like brings up like what we have to start trying to work on next time. It's not like too much like blaming who's the reason why we lost. It's more like just working on what we need to improve on.
So jokes, those are always great. But were you angry? Were you angry, frustrated at those results from last year? Or from last split, rather?
Definitely, I was quite pissed.
Mm-hmm.
I